While narcissistic personality disorder is one of the most searched topics online, do you know that the victims of narcissistic abuse have many shared qualities, as their experiences have shaped them a certain way? How can you tell if a person has endured narcissistic abuse? In this video, we'll talk about how narcissists pick their victims and the signs that a person has unpleasant experiences with a narcissist. From this content, you can make a better judgment on how to handle the victims of narcissistic abuse and point them towards resources that may help them. Stay tuned. A person with a narcissistic personality disorder is known that the person is grandiose and that they are missing the important human quality that values support, connection, and empathy. They often view other people as a tool for their gain, and they often see their children as an extension of themselves that are not allowed to have any desires, dreams, and thoughts that are not aligned with the narcissist. Narcissists often need to be in control of everyone at all times. They view their needs as above all and will often use shame, guilt, fear, silent treatment, punishment, and emotional blackmail to threaten their victims into compliance. The narcissist is often raised by narcissists as well, and they don't value the importance of emotional maturity, growth, and interdependence. Instead, they often think in terms of hierarchy, where someone must be below them for them to win and to look good. Narcissists often pick a victim who has the qualities of empathy, compassion, forgiving, loyal, low self-esteem, self-doubt, overly accommodating, and overly responsible. These qualities and traits makes them too soft to defend against the narcissist's emotional rage, unreasonable requests, and irresponsible behaviors. As such, many victims have endured physical, emotional, and psychological abuse. The shared pain among victims is the painful soul loss as a result of the abuse cycle, where there is tension, incident, reconciliation, and calm. The continuous abuse cycle aggravated the victim's vagus nerve, deteriorates their cognitive functioning, and battered their self-image. Here are 6 signs that a person has experienced narcissistic abuse. They don't know themselves and what they want. People who have endured narcissistic abuse usually have a weak or poor self-image. As such, they are more likely to attach to familiar relationships that are usually from their past or family of origin. A person who has never had a positive self-image with a strong core self likely doesn't know themselves, doesn't know what they want, and doesn't know their worth. Like a dependent child who still needs validation from others, they often give too much power away to others because they don't have a strong connection to their source, which is their internal guidance. They neglect their own needs and dreams. Due to having a weak sense of self, victims of narcissistic abuse tend to neglect themselves to care for others or sacrifice themselves to help others. Normal, healthy relationships have a balance of giving and take. Both parties have their goals, and they can pursue their dreams and still have the best interest of each other. But for narcissists, the relationship is one-sided. The narcissist does not want you to have your needs and dreams. They will use tactics such as mocking, guilt, gaslighting, silent treatment, and shaming you for your dreams to break you and doubt yourself. Many victims of narcissistic abuse do not understand it's a sadistic tactic of narcissists to make their victims lose themselves to serve the narcissist and never leave them like an obedient puppets. They may have a lot of triggers. Victims of narcissistic abuse usually have a lot of triggers because the relationship is an attack on the person's core self until it's shattered to pieces. The victim has been living in a constant abuse cycle of honeymoon and abuse, which makes them feel like they're walking on eggshells, puts their amygdala on constant alert, and it impacts their health, their nervous system, the quality of their sleep, their appetite, and their overall well-being on a physical, emotional, and spiritual level. Many victims of narcissistic abuse often experience anxiety, panic attack, depression, insomnia, uncontrollable emotions, cognitive dissonance, dissociation, restlessness, and many more triggers. It's likely the victims will become defensive towards certain topics, get aggravated when feeling threatened, overly reactive towards other people's reactions, and feel overwhelmed by shame for their own mistakes, even the smallest ones. Victims of narcissistic abuse often need assurance and validation. Due to long-term abuse that shatters the victim's core self, the victim often loses touch with reality, so they need assurance and validation to feel safe and secure. They are likely to people please to feel safe and be accepted at the cost of self-abandonment. To be friendly and kind to others out of love and generosity is one thing. To overly give and self-sacrifice coming from fear with weak boundaries is an unhealthy way to approach relationships. When a person needs to do nice things for others to gain assurance, validation, and approval, it means the person comes from a background of conditional and transactional love, where they had to do things out of their will to earn love and safety. Their vulnerability has been exploited, and they lost their sense of themselves. This is dangerous for the person, as this conditioning gives others too much power to determine their self-worth and value. As you see, victims of narcissistic abuse have endured pain on many levels and will need a lot of time and effort to heal. However, there is still hope because the healing journey can bring a lot of wisdom and inner peace to the victims and may lead them to a higher purpose to serve the world with their gifts. All victims of narcissistic abuse need to understand that there is no shame in seeking help and that they are strong enough to go through the healing journey. That's how you spark your inner magic, find your purpose, and level up as a person. For your reference, you can consider the following resources for victims of narcissistic abuse: narcissisticabusevictims.org, counselors and therapists who has experiences with narcissistic abuse victims from BetterHelp and Psychology Today, justice.gov for domestic violence victims, and recommended books including Psychopath Free by Jackson McKenzie, Healing from Hidden Abuse by Shannon Thomas, Power, Surviving and Thriving After Narcissistic Abuse by Shahida Arabi, Out of the Fog by Dana Morningstar. So if you are the victim of narcissistic abuse or know someone who is a victim, you can see that going through narcissistic abuse is not an easy thing, but when you come out on the other side of healing, you will see the greater depth of humanity and develop compassion for yourself and others. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and sharing it with people you like. Remember to spark the magic within you. Until next time, take care and we'll see you in the next video.